All right, well, we're officially underway, I guess. It's 12:30. We may have a few other folks popping in to join us here today, but I certainly appreciate everyone who's made it so far. Hello, my name is Montel. You may know me from other areas at CR, but now I'm the interim manager of the CR Career Center. I'm really excited to talk about some of the resources that we offer to students, as well as our industry partners and employers throughout the county. Before I go any further, can I answer any quick questions off the top? All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and put the Career Center website into the chat so people can access that information. I'll also share some screen here in a moment, but I wanted to take a moment before I launch into that part of it to let other folks pop in. The Career Center is fully open and available for students. We can help people one-on-one. The website is also configured to offer some self-help for people if they want to peruse the resources there. And it's all geared towards helping connect students with jobs and putting themselves in the best position possible to get those jobs. So also to help people who maybe aren't quite sure what they want to do for their career, sort of do some self-assessment and figure out what makes the most sense to them so that they can pursue the best education plan possible. All right, well, let me start sharing screen here, and we'll kind of talk about the services that we offer here at College of the Redwoods in our Career Center, which once we get back to face-to-face will be located in the LRC, very close to EOPS there in the back where the partitions begin. But for now, it's all online and it is fully available. So feel free to interject or ask any questions or throw anything up in the chat if you'd like to while I am going through what we have here available through the website. So to start off, we now have a job board that we had a job board before, but now it's a little more centrally located. And we've also put together a function for local employers to be able to enter their job opening information and send it off right away without having to wait for confirmation from anybody via email. And that's over here on the right-hand side of the screen with the employers section. And they can contact us directly, or they can click the link to go to a form page that they can enter the information about the job. We still are very happy to accept any kinds of job offer submissions or opening submissions, even if it's just an email as well. Welcome. We're just going through the Career Center website, and it is currently available at redwoods.edu/career center. Then I wanted to talk briefly about some of our career exploration and planning endeavors, because that is, I think, going to be the first stop for a lot of our students who maybe aren't quite sure what they want to do for their career, or maybe they are considering a new career and the instruction that might go along with it here at CR. So I'm going to check that out. Welcome, Honorable. Thanks for attending today. Let's see here. So some of the services that we offer at the Career Center, we have one-on-one help with creation or updating a resume. Also, we do mock job interviews. And also, I think in this day and age, we offer assistance with Zoom interviews, because I know that's sort of a brave new world that a lot of people are having to experience. So we'll go over some of the peculiarities that have popped up now that a lot of job interviews are conducted over Zoom. And then looking here at the career exploration and planning page, we'll really be able to get into some of the resources that are available to students, both one-on-one and in person. Actually, absolutely, a job opening can be added to our jobs page. And we love it when they're related to a CR degree or program, but we don't restrict them. In fact, if we were to take a look at the jobs page itself, if I just pop back over there, we can take a quick look at that component of the job board. You'll see that we have them broken down by federal work study, district work study, tribal job opportunities, and sort of the catch-all category of other. And so you'll see we've got some that are tied directly to some of our degrees, IT or CIS grads. But then, we've also got county jobs, Northern Humboldt Union High School jobs. Eureka Broadcasting has recently posted one. And then I was contacted most recently by Blue Lake Casino and Hotel about a number of job openings that they have as well. So any employer can fill out the form or just send me an email with details about the job, and I'll get it posted up onto the job board as soon as possible. In addition to that, some of the services that I am facilitating or adding to our job placement services are reaching out to recent graduates. We have a great tool that allows me to contact our current students for part-time gigs, but I've also got some recent grad information from IT as well. So I can actually reach out to people who've graduated in the last 3 years and send them job openings that correspond to their area of study. I've been contacting a lot of students in CIS, early childhood education, and ag lately, because those have been the jobs that come in that are most easily applicable to those recent grads in those areas. So it's a little bit above and beyond the job board, where the employers are actually being able to get access through me to some of our recent grads to try to facilitate placement with students who have studied in those areas. Any other questions about the job board or employer job placement services? So I think that's a really important part of what we do, and we're really looking to expand that both through internships and apprenticeships as well. Hi, Stephen. Good question. They are not only open to current students. In fact, we try to welcome everyone in who needs our services. However, if you are not a recent grad, then you wouldn't necessarily be on the list of students that I would be able to contact if a job, say in psychology, as you've specified, came through. I will say that we have not received a ton of job opening announcements for things in the field of psychology. However, I have noticed a few when I'm perusing the county website and DHHS website that psychology is certainly a relevant field of study for some of the job openings that they have there. But we are trying not to be too duplicative of some of the other job board resources in the community. And what gets put up on our job board is usually from organizations that have reached out to us or opportunities that directly apply to some of our fields of study here at CR. Oh, yes, I can absolutely help anybody who would like assistance with resume creation or improvement, or even just to chat about resume best practices, cover sheets, and that kind of thing. So absolutely. Because we're all virtual right now, we would need to sort of make an appointment to do so. Otherwise, when we get back in person on June 1st, it'll be on a walk-in basis in our lovely new space right across from EOPS. The job offers can come through whatever avenue is available. So thank you, Honorable. Great question. The business can contact me directly, and I'm actually in the process of reaching out to faculty to find out about employers who have historically been interested in hiring our grads, so that I can try to establish relationships with them to create a sort of structured program by which we can facilitate our grads, perhaps working part-time or as interns while they're going to school, and then moving into more full-time work once they've graduated. So that's definitely a work in progress, but yes, I welcome all job information from faculty and staff as well. Can I answer any other questions as it relates to our job placement and job board programs? Well, I'm happy to address any questions as they arise, regardless of whether we've moved on to other components of the Career Center. But the job board and job placement services are certainly going to be a centerpiece of what we do, and we're just building out the structure right now because we've never really had that in a formal sense before. I think our faculty have done a great job in the past of acting as facilitators with students and industry. But they shouldn't have to be the ones to do that. And also, if they happen to retire or move out of the area, then that connection is potentially lost. So I'm hoping to sort of centralize that and house it in the Career Center. You can certainly get an internship after you are no longer a student at CR, Mary. Thank you for asking. The rules and laws regarding internship in California do require that students be compensated in some way. And so when you are attending CR or perhaps doing an internship through our Cooperative Work Experience program, which I'll get into in just a moment, that would put you into a position to be able to for the internship to be legal, because even if you weren't getting paid, you would be earning educational credit for the work that you're doing. So if even if you've graduated and you wanted to take advantage of one of the unpaid internships, we could certainly enroll you in a cooperative work experience class that would not only give you a little bit of educational credit, but allow you to receive some sort of compensation for an unpaid internship. Any other questions about job placement? All right, well, let me just jump back over to our main Career Center site here. 1 second. My Zoom controls are in the way. There we go. All right, so moving down the line, we have this nice button to schedule an appointment. There's a form on every page or method of contacting me through the website. And you may catch me using the royal we during the discussions, but right now I'm the only person working in the Career Center until we get back to face-to-face. So if I say we, I really just mean me as of now. The resume page is actually a work in progress. The page itself, it still says page under construction, although most of the resources are in place there. So there's some quick tips for a starting point, jumping off place for resume creation. Also a link to be able to make an appointment for anyone who might be interested in that, Stephen. So that's a great way to get started in the beginning. You can always get a hold of me via email. I'm usually in the office once a week or so, and I can definitely get back to you as soon as possible. But an email is definitely the quickest way to get a hold of me. And so careercenter@redwoods.edu goes to me, as does my own personal email at CR, which is montel-vanderhorck@redwoods.edu. That's a lot harder to spell than careercenter@redwoods.edu. We got some great links over here on the side where we've got some information about resume building, current resume trends, some sample resumes to talk about the different kinds of formatting for resumes, the typical breakdown being chronological or functional, and a combo resume as well. And we can talk about some of the differences between those on a one-on-one basis. Any questions as it comes to resume assistance before I move on to the next piece? All right. We also have some great resources here. We've got our workforce and community education. I believe they've just changed their names. That may not be the most current name of the department, so I do apologize if I got that wrong. Stephen, go ahead and email me about an appointment via Zoom. Usually Mondays and Wednesdays and Thursdays are the most flexible days for me. Tuesdays and Fridays, I do some work with some of our cooperative work experience students through the Northern Humboldt High School District. And so I have sort of set times with them. But please just shoot me a quick email and we can set you up with an appointment. Usually also most days after 3 are good for me, even on those Tuesdays and Fridays. We've got some great links here. Of course, counseling, they do great work helping people get their ed plans set up. But a lot of times I've been told and have run into students who aren't quite sure what they even want to do yet. And so the counselors are going to be able to really put a great ed plan together for them. But if the student doesn't quite know what to do or what they'd like to do, I can hopefully help them explore some of those areas through our career exploration and planning page. We've got a number of career assessments that allow students to sort of figure out some information about what they might be interested in doing based on their own interests. other assessments based on your values and skills that you're bringing already to the table. And then there's also a kind of a fun one here, which is a visual assessment that utilizes imagery to sort of help people instinctively narrow down some of the things they may be interested in. And so we can go through some of those things. Career prep, I think a really important part of deciding upon a career and therefore educational goal and ed plan is thinking about it from a budget and money standpoint. What kind of lifestyle do we want to live? What kind of things do we expect to have once we are in a career? And so we can go through and use some assessments that allow us to approach it from that direction and then output some of the careers that are promising and might allow us to achieve those lifestyle goals rather than coming from the purely theoretical side of things of like, oh, what might I want to do? Instead, we start from the place of where do I want to be once I've become established in my career. And then we've got another link to our career education page, which is often where many of the people end up who are coming to CR to be able to make themselves more employable or join the workforce. And then got some good numbers here about career numbers here in Humboldt County, as well as California in general. So we can kind of take a look at what sectors are primed for growth, what kind of growth we're looking at, and that can sometimes help to inform our career decisions. More resources over here, the North Coast Small Business Development Center, they do a great job of offering classes for helping people get started for those entrepreneurs out there that would like to work for themselves. Humboldt County EDD is a wealth of information, not just employment, unemployment, but there's so much more there. Our job market also does a great job of, and the Smart Workforce Center in Del Norte do a great job of bringing together a lot of resources for people to join the workforce and improve their employability. Also, we're working on setting up some apprenticeships here on the North Coast. Anyone who's ever tried to explore apprenticeships may have found that there's quite a bit of a drop-off once you're north of the Bay and Sacramento areas. And so I'm hoping to help establish some of those programs up here as well on a case-by-case basis, and eventually join the rest of the state to help people move into jobs while they're still at school, knowing that they'll be able to have a solid job once they graduate. Indeed, if you haven't registered and you're looking for a job, I highly recommend Indeed. It's a great place to start looking for a job because there are many local employers that utilize it. It can also help you generate a resume, and employers can actually seek you out using the services available on Indeed. LinkedIn, we know about that program, that software and website. It's growing in terms of its capabilities, excuse me, and is always a good thing to be able to network and find jobs. And then for a lot of the people that we know have been impacted by COVID, we've got a great website here called Onward California that helps people to not only look at employment post or during ongoing pandemic, but also some resources to make sure people are taking advantage of some of the benefits that are available to them for those who have been impacted by COVID, which I think is highly relevant these days. Hopefully less so as we begin to get vaccinated, but that's a whole other Zoom meeting. Any questions about career exploration and planning services offered here in the Career Center? All right, well, let me just jump back here, and I'm happy to go through any of those resources on a one-on-one basis as well, because it's a large conversation to have, especially if one is considering shifting gears or embarking upon one's educational and career journey. It is worth some consideration, and I can help you in that area. Again, there's the schedule an appointment button, and you can shoot me an email, and we'll get you on the docket. We also have a link to HSU's academic and career advising page, which is really valuable because they have a number of people working in their career center, and they also do a great job of offering resources and counseling. And also, if students are planning to transfer to HSU, it's nice to be able to become familiar with the resources that will be available to you once you make that jump. Our goal is to make the career advising and career center experience more seamless as students traverse from one institution to the other. All right. The cooperative work experience section. This is something that I've been doing for a number of years before the Career Center was created. And the idea behind cooperative work experience is that students can earn educational credit for work that they are doing, whether it's volunteer or a paid gig. There's some slight differences there. And we have two basic forms of work experience. We have a general work experience, which is designed for students who are working at jobs that are unrelated to their educational goals or majors. And what that means is essentially people who are new to the workforce, or perhaps returning to the workforce after an absence, or for those who are considering a shift in their career, who would like to maybe try something out before they commit to that path. So with general work experience, students can earn up to 3 units per semester based on the number of hours they're working. Typically, the learning objectives that need to be established for a general work experience are going to be more basic and more general work experience skills like communication or other vital soft skills. Where we like to see students move when it comes to cooperative work experience, which is a work-based learning program, is moving them into the area of occupational work experience. And what that means is that it's a job that's going to be related to your educational goal or major. And there are some major advantages to moving into occupational work experience. One being that you're able to get some experience in the field, meet some of the people that may be your colleagues or maybe a potential ally in a job search post-education. And people who are able to work in the field before they graduate are often much preferred by employers because they know this person either personally or they know that the person already has some experience in the field rather than all of their experience being theoretical. Before I launch into the spiel about how cooperative work takes place, can I answer any quick questions on it? Now, we have a number of discipline-specific work experience programs that are also part of our degrees here at CR, such as we have an AG or AG 42 that is part of the restricted electives for AG degrees and AG students. So we typically have several AG cooperative work students working every semester in various capacities in the greenhouse or out at the farm in Shively or in the farm stand. And then we also have students this semester working in the welding shop or the fab lab. Jerry is overseeing some of the students there who are coming back to school to obtain some skills and also help out with some exciting projects that are going on in the fab lab. So that's a pretty exciting part of our occupational work experience program. With cooperative work experience education, there are 3 pillars, essentially. We have the student, who is the one doing the work, and we have a faculty advisor who is an expert in the field. And then we have the work supervisor who oversees the student's work day to day and facilitates the on-the-job learning. But before we can get a student enrolled, it isn't like a typical class that people can just sign up for via web advisor. Instead, it is we have to sort of figure out what the learning objectives are going to be for that particular student in that particular work experience opportunity. And that's because work experiences or jobs or volunteer gigs can vary pretty widely. So we want to make sure that we're setting up reasonable objectives that correspond both to the number of hours to which students are committing, as well as what's possible within the scope of the job. So the work experience faculty advisor and the work experience supervisor have to agree upon those learning objectives before we can move forward with the registration process. Once we get those learning objectives set up, we fill out the contract application and learning objectives forms, and then we're able to get the students registered. And then I will email the students and faculty members and work supervisors to let them know that, hey, we are on and we're moving forward on that. The way that we award credit is based on the number of hours students are able to work. And so if you're working in a paid job for work experience, you need to earn 75 hours per unit of credit. And we can break that down into half-hour or half-unit increments as well. So for our occupational work experience, students can work or earn anywhere from a half of the unit all the way up to 8 units per semester. Again, depending on how many hours are going to be available for them. The one caveat on all of that, though, is that we do need to know how many hours the student can commit to before we get them registered, because that will inform the structure of the section when they build it in enrollment. Any questions on work experience so far? Work experience can be valuable in a number of capacities. One, it allows students to earn units to apply towards their degrees, such as the ag work experience, or some of the sociology and addiction studies degrees require some field experience, as does ECE and some of our health occupations. But another use for cooperative work experience can be an example that we find almost every semester these days, especially with courses being canceled due to COVID or low enrollment. And if it's a course that only is offered once a year, but a student is able to find a job or volunteer opportunity that would allow them to learn essentially the same things, we can work with some of the faculty, the qualified faculty in those areas, to set up a work experience that could be used as a course substitution to allow the student to graduate on time, so they don't have to wait a whole nother year for that class to become available again. But again, we have a link for contacting the CWEE coordinator for an orientation and to know more about the program. And again, that's me. So just me wearing a different hat, but I'm happy to work through all of the variables that go into a cooperative work section. Yes, thank you, Kathleen. That is, yes, I wear a lot of hats in this department so far. If you want to know about the specifics of the program, please do download the general or occupational work experience syllabi here. Even though we have a number of discipline-specific work experience sections, manufacturing or MT 42, ag, AG 42, construction technology, CT 42, the terms of the process are essentially the same thing. So if you read the occupational and general syllabi, you'll have an idea about how the program works. With cooperative work, one of the advantages is that we can actually get it set up at any point during the semester, so long as there is enough time remaining to fulfill the hour commitment for which the students have signed up. So if you are ever looking for a few extra units and the semester's already begun, cooperative work experience might be something that would be able to fit for you. But it's very customizable to the students' individual experiences. So just need to contact me and we can get the ball rolling on that. Can I answer any questions about work experience before we move on a little bit? All right, so we talked a little bit about the student job board. We also have a nice little thing here for tips for job seekers during a pandemic. It's a helpful article that makes people aware not only of some of the things that are available to them, but also some of the other options and sites that can help people find jobs. But the job board is always there for our students to check out, and of course for employers to submit job openings, which is our next section here. And it's pretty straightforward. You can give me a call, you can send me an email, or you can fill out a form with information about the job. And then here we are at the bottom of the page for another way to get a hold of me through the contact form here. Again, my office number here, I check the voicemail daily, but the emails are noticed a lot more quickly because, you know, these days it's me sitting in front of a screen. So I look forward into when we can get back to face-to-face and I can help people out. In our new Career Center space, we'll have some computers for students to work on resumes or conduct job searches or career surveys and assessments. So that is sort of the Career Center in its virtual form, totally available. Just one-on-one assistance is via appointment rather than on a walk-in basis. So I'd like to open it up to discussion and questions. Is there anything that you don't see here that I could incorporate because you know, it is a new service that we've never really had consolidated like this at CR before. And I want to make sure that I'm including as many people as I can, or being able to help as many folks as possible. So can I'm going to stop sharing screen here. Can I ask how many of our attendees are students? I don't see too many students. I know Stephen had asked a question earlier. Well, I hope that you can help spread the word. Hi, Mary. Glad to see we've got at least one or two students here. What are some things that I could help you with in the Career Center? All right, Stephen, an alumni, great. I know we talked about helping out with some resume update and creation perhaps for you. And I look forward to making an appointment to work with that.
I'm an addiction studies major, and so come fall, I'm going to need to get into an internship program for my classes, and I'm a little bit hesitant about letting that go until I sign up for classes. So I've been reaching out to Heart and to Waterfront, but I would love to have a one-on-one with you about kind of what that entails, what I can do to actually get paid for those hours.
Right. Yeah, well, that's a great, I'm really glad you're thinking ahead. We do help a lot of students earn cooperative work for their work experience in the sociology and addiction studies programs. A lot of times the instructors in those areas are also really great resources to finding placements because they've got a great deal of knowledge of past employers who have worked with them. But I'm also happy to share with you some of the past employers that I've worked with to get students cooperative work experience credit through those areas as well. And then another service that I like to offer students is that when no one likes job hunting, it's kind of a painful process. It can feel like just, a lot of work without a whole lot of feedback. A lot of times can be very discouraging. And so I offer the service for students to, once they've reached out to the initial employer, I ask them to communicate with me about who their contact person was when they reached out. And then I follow that up with a call. And sometimes just having the weight of an institution behind a student can help to sort of differentiate them from some of the other potential employee candidates, because the employer now knows that this is a person who is really serious about it. They're studying in that area and really want to be able to move into the workforce. So that's one of the things that I can perhaps help you with once we sit down and talk about some of the previous employers who worked with our students on this. And I also am very happy to bring in some of the faculty as well who may have even more leads about current openings. Honorable had asked about paid internships through HCOE that I know of. I don't know of any off the top of my head, but that's certainly part of the exploration process. I know that we've been working, I think we had a discussion about there's a consortium of people or companies in Fortuna who really want to help create a Google form for current and recent grads of the AT program to help get them placed as soon as possible. And then, Mary, I see that you also put up a note saying you're going to make an appointment to get help with the resume as soon as possible. I look forward to helping you out with that. So yeah, just send me an email, Mary, and we'll get you scheduled in there. Zoom will be the modality, but that's our lives these days, it seems, for those of us who aren't working in a face-to-face job. Any other questions that I can answer about our services or what we might like to discuss if you were able to come in on a walk-in basis? One of the areas that we are looking to expand into is helping formerly incarcerated students sort of navigate some of the avenues through which they can receive training to be able to re-enter the workforce. So we're working with Humboldt County Correctional Facility to sort of make materials available to some of the folks in their facility, as well as through some of the adult ed classes that we already offer through the HCCF. Well, I hope that everyone will kind of keep checking back with our website, because as I mentioned before, we've got a pretty solid setup for now, but we're always looking for ways to expand our services and how we, the Royal We, can help people with some of their job prep, career research, and assessment services, and ultimately are trying to construct a system by which we can have a set of internships that are available on a regular basis with local industry partners. Although that is a somewhat nebulous goal at this point, but we're working with several other folks, including Humboldt Redwood Company and some of the other local companies. So students, how would they know to look on here to see job openings? That's a great question. And I think that I'm hoping that the folks here in this meeting, and I know we're going to have a radio ad coming out soon to hopefully get the word out about our Career Center and the job board, which is sort of central to some of our placement efforts. So I would hope that anyone who has contact with students, especially those who are looking for jobs, would refer them to the Career Center page, because we've got several links just on that landing page. It's redwoods.edu/career center, and students can access that information. The other service that I offer is when employers reach out with a job offer, not only do I post it on the job board, but I email current and recent graduates about it when it's a really clear connection between what they studied. So today, in fact, we got a paid IT internship from a startup in the Bay Area for remote IT workers. And I was able to post that on the job board, but also contact our current students and recent grads with that information. So I hope that those can be two methods that can help increase the awareness of the job board. If I send everybody an email saying, hey, come check out this new job listing on our job board in this area, hopefully then they will remember that path. But I appreciate all references from anyone who works with students, or from students who know where it is and know anyone who's looking to take advantage of our services. Ashley, are there any students that you know of that I could help out with any of the things that we've been talking about here today?
Not specifically. I was just wondering, for future, is there some sort of, Instagram post, or, besides sending them to the website, was there some other way that we're letting them know to look there?
Yeah, I've been working with Molly Blakemore and our graphic design department, and they created a couple of social media ads that are now out there circulating. I came across one the other day, so it was nice to see. So I think they are hitting up the Facebooks and the Instagrams with some of our content. So those are two avenues by which people are being reached. And then, of course, the upcoming radio ad. The radio ad is actually aimed more at employers and making them aware of our job placement services, and the job board being a little more accessible for them to post their job openings. So we're getting it out there. We've only actually, again, you saw an ad on LinkedIn. That's great. So the Career Center didn't exist until about February, and I didn't come into this position until January 11th. So we're still pretty new, but we're trying to get the word out.
Well, if you have any sort of like flyer or something, some sort of print material we could put up in the cafe.
Yeah.
And then also, if you can get me something digitally, maybe with a link, I'd be happy to pass it along to like Fortuna FBID and the Chamber of Commerce.
Great. Actually, that's one of the things that we've been talking about is doing presentations at the chambers. And I have already put in the help request for a flyer a little postcard size flyer for the Career Center services to be distributed. And we're actually working on creating some little magnets with some information about us to be able to send out to a lot of our industry partners, so that, you know, I think that Dean Mayer had mentioned that, you know, when you get a promotional magnet, you can't just throw it away like you might a flyer or a piece of paper. You know, it always ends up on your fridge. So
Cool.
hopefully that'll be something that'll give us a little bit of a life when it comes to getting the word out about the Career Center. Yeah, Dean Mayer had a really good idea with the magnet. I'm looking forward to getting those produced through the graphic design folks that we have as well. But I will certainly actually get you those materials once they've been created. I think the pamphlets we should, or the flyers we should be getting probably next week. The magnets might take a little longer, and I think we're going to do an initial run of 100 of those to get to some of the employers that we've most commonly been able to place students with in the past.
Awesome, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Also, you know, Ashley, if you ever find that you need student workers, are most of your students work study students that work in the cafeteria?
No, in the cafe, unfortunately, with the building, some of it having some issues where we can't hire federal work study right now.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, well, when we do find that status changes, you know, it'd be great to be able to place some of our students with you. We obviously don't have an RHM degree anymore, but you know, students can certainly earn some general educational credit, or if they're able to work in a position that would allow them to do, you know, some sort of supervisorial or managerial work. You know, there could be some business students, especially those in the business management program, that might be able to find some good experience working with you.
Great, thanks.
Yeah. And Kathleen, to answer your question about where we can find the recording for this session, I don't have the answer to that yet. Molly Blakemore is going to handle that, but I can certainly get that information to you. If you're able to, will you shoot me an email with the request for that? And that way I can get that back to you as soon as I have it. I'll just put the email in the chat for you. There it is. So careercenter@redwoods.edu is one way to get a hold of me. Also, of course, the classic personal email is available as well, but I find that Career Center is a lot easier to spell than Vanderhork. Whoops, that's redwoods.edu. Sorry about that. Some exciting developments that are coming up for us with the Career Center is we're working with some of the endeavors that are being done throughout the college. We're going to be working with a bunch of folks to put on a workforce summit in April 9th, where we'll be talking to a lot of the leaders of our leading sectors here in Humboldt County. That's going to be April 9th, actually, coming up. And then at the end of April, we're hoping to put on our very first virtual job fair, so we can help connect students with employers to get summer jobs, but also begin to form those relationships that may become more permanent once they are able to move into a full-time role when they've graduated or have received their certificates. A lot of the time, we're actually going to start do a speakers series in the end of March, Thursday, March 30th. We're going to do a speaker series with the owner of Los Bagels to talk about some of the experiences that they've had with being an entrepreneur in the county, but also to talk about the kinds of things they look for in their employees and what makes people successful. So some exciting developments. We've got the speaker series. We've got the Workforce Summit coming up April 9th. And then we don't have the date nailed down yet, but we'll be having a virtual jobs fair in the end of April to help people meet some of the folks that are involved in industry here in Humboldt County, and hopefully help them be able to either begin to have that relationship or maybe even move into a summer job. Can I answer any questions or open it up for discussion about career stuff in general? Oh, I'm hearing the sounds of some incoming emails. That's always exciting.
How would an employer know about the job fair and if they wanted to participate in that?
Well, we haven't begun the outreach yet. It has not been finalized about what the dates are. And in fact, I'm involved in a couple of work groups now for community partnerships and student experiences. And the Workforce Summit is actually going to be a great way for me to have direct access to the leaders of some of our local economic and industry leaders here in the county. And so I think making those connections will allow me to move a little further towards nailing down those relationships. But I'm also contacting all of the lead faculty in our CE division to sort of harvest their industry contacts so that I can reach out and let them know what we're doing, not only about the job fair, but with our goals for job placement services, and to create that centralized list of available jobs and internships from semester to semester.
Great.
Yeah. So outreach continues, I guess, is the short answer to that question. I actually had a good response to some of that outreach from Silas, who's our farm manager, and they have a number of openings to work both on campus in the greenhouse, as well as off campus in a number of community gardens, the farm in Shively. Some of those positions are grant dependent, but if those grants are able to come through, it looks like we're going to have reliably about 10 to 12 internships that are ag related alone. So it's a good start on that side of things. And I know we've got some interest out there in our manufacturing technology partners as well to begin doing some job placement, and also with the Humboldt Redwood Company for sending some of their workers to CR, paying for their time and for the units, of course. It's almost like a reverse apprenticeship where they've identified people who have already really good work ethics, attitudes, and commitment to the job. They just lack those specific skills. And so now they see the value in sending them, paying them to go back to school essentially and earn those skills through our program. So that's another one of our efforts that we're looking to greatly expand and get the word out about. Well, is there anything else I can help folks with? Questions I can answer, or anything related to the Career Center or career-related assessments or counseling or anything like that? For those of you who've had a chance to check out the website, whether student, staff, faculty, I would greatly appreciate any feedback or ideas of things that we could improve, or additional suggestions of services to be offered through the Career Center. As I said, it is just a one-person operation at this moment, and it gets a little bit echoey here in my own head. So sometimes it's hard to see the forest for the trees when it comes to the website. All right, well, I think that we've covered almost everything, but I'm going to just maybe begin to repeat myself until someone stops me. But I want to thank everyone for coming here today, and I really hope you can help get the word out about the Career Center, so that we can get these resources into student hands, but also into the hands of our local industry partners, so they can understand that it's not just for current students, but also for industry and for anyone who's considering maybe some retraining or anything like that through CR's offerings. I hope that if you know of anyone who has openings in industry, that you'll recommend them to our a job board as well, so that we can begin to make those relationships happen.